we saw a little bit of frustration from Steph Curry the other day when I believe they were playing the Clippers and they were absolutely getting torched by LA. And you saw Steph not physically, verbally frustrated with his teammates. And it's unlike really anything that we've seen from Steph Curry throughout most of his career at this point, simply because of the fact that Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors have been a very successful franchise, and Steph Curry as a player the last 5 to 6 years. Do you think that the NBA, to a certain extent, is giving Steph Curry and the Warriors what the Warriors and Steph gave to the league for multiple years while they were on their championship run?
No, I don't. I don't agree with that at all. Are you kidding? What? Is it Steph's fault that they drafted Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green? Is it Steph's fault that they had Monte Ellis as Steph was drafted? Is it Steph's fault that the GM had an attractive position to have the greatest player at the time and Kevin Durant come to the team? No. But I hate people that are trying to spin this on, well, Steph's getting karma because he dominated. What kind of bullshit is that? Like, are you kidding me? Like, the man is basically playing on a team alone because Wiseman's been hurt for some time. Draymond Green is one of the most inconsistent players in the NBA right now and can't keep his mouth shut. His running mate in Klay Thompson tore his Achilles and his ACL the season before. Kevin Durant left to Brooklyn, which nobody feels bad about, but I'm just saying, like, he's always had somebody around him, and he's single-handedly carrying them to an above 500 record. Of course he's going to be frustrated and agitated when somebody makes a stupid mistake. When your second-best player is fucking Kelly Oubre, I would be pissed too, because Kelly had a very slow start to the season and has picked it up. But if you got to literally rely on just Kelly Oubre to make shots or get open, I would assume it's frustrating. You have a lot of young players on that team. Obviously, James Wiseman is a top 3, top 4 rookie in the league right now. Obviously, LaMelo Ball is leading that category right now. But in terms of, this might be the greatest top 3 draft picks in the NBA history era, in the history of the NBA, in my personal opinion. We'll get into that another day. It's just the fact that the significance of how well Anthony Edwards is playing, how well LaMelo Ball is playing, how well James Wiseman is playing when on the court, and then how wise LaMelo Ball is playing is just incredible. But back to Steph. The man's averaging damn near 30. He's shooting over 40% from the damn field, or from the three-point line. He's shooting almost 50% from the field. And he's frustrated. It's out of his character. It's out of pocket for him to be as upset and visibly, angry as he was on the sideline. But can you blame him? He's not used to perfection. He's used to having great records. He's used to having a well-oiled machine team because he's played with the same group of guys basically his entire career. And when things don't go the way you expect, or go the way that they've been going, of course you're going to be upset. Who likes getting blown out on national TV? You know what I mean? Like, who wants to get embarrassed, especially when you're home? Like, nonetheless, like, it just.
I don't think they were home. They weren't home.
Are you sure?
They were on the road. Okay. They were in LA.
So retract the statement. Nobody wants to get blown out. So of course anybody's going to get upset, and I think people need to let that shit go. The people that say that are the people that are salty because the Warriors busted their ass. I'm one of them. I'm a Mavericks fan. Yes, it happens. We got absolutely torched by them. I'm not saying that. I don't give a shit if they beat us or they lose. It's basketball. It has nothing. Karma doesn't exist in the league, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Just because they dominated for 5 or 6 years doesn't mean they're going to go on a stretch of losing for what, 9, 10 years. The Bulls won 6 times in Michael's career. Kobe won 5 times. Kobe hit a big lull after Shaq left because he had scrubs around him. But it's the point. That's not karma. That's part of the business. If people leave, or if people don't want to resign, or if you don't have the cap space because you're tied to one person, these are all different scenarios. The Warriors lost their second person, and their rookie was hurt as well. What do you want him to do? Average 50? People called him washed up 2 weeks into the season. He dropped 57 on us, Kyle. 57. He had 48 in 3 quarters.
Didn't he drop 60? Didn't he drop 62 like earlier in the season too?
What the fuck do people want? Like, yes, he's upset. He's allowed to be mad. Are you kidding me? If we were to zoom in on LeBron James's mentality or his like off the sideline antics to some of the shit he said to Ty Lue or to David Blatt or maybe even to Eric Spoelstra, who is supposedly
or JR.
It's the point. Players get mad. Players get frustrated, especially when you're the guy. Fuck yeah, you're gonna be tight when someone's sucking it up and you're dropping damn near 30 a game. It's like, bro, I can't do this by myself. I'm fucking tired. You know what I'm saying? Aisha out here making cooking books and telling me I'm never home to eat her shitty food, but y'all not playing. You're not doing your damn job. You know what I'm saying? So I feel for him, and I disagree completely. I think he's definitely allowed to be pissed off
I
for a
think
fact.
I think any karma that I mean, even if you were to say that like karma was real, anything that they had to deal with karma was last year when Steph was hurt with his wrist. I mean, they had to bring in D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell was basically just like
That
a
was a rent.
holdover. It was a holdover piece until did Steph come back into like the latter part of the year?
No, Steph was out for the majority of the season. He came back for like the last maybe I want to say 2-3 weeks just to get
Okay.
reps, but they were so far out of it, it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
So when you look at the Golden State Warriors, there's I believe that they're still a playoff team as it stands right now. Or
Yeah,
they're
they're
looking
they're a game behind us.
okay. So
We're 20-17. I think they're 19-17.
I think right now, when you look at what Golden State is going through, I think just by and large, I think they just miss Clay. Man, if Clay had been on this
Yes.
team this year, I think it completely changes the entire dynamic of this team. And I don't even know if they signed even Kelly Oubre at that point, because Kelly Oubre was probably just the replacement for Clay after he tore his Achilles. So,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you this, man. Look, these role players and these secondary players for Golden State, they have to step up because it's a very rare sighting that you ever see Steph completely bewildered by the fact that his teammates are just unable to go out and perform just decent basketball. I mean, for Kelly Oubre, at the beginning of the year, he was cold. He's been a little bit better, probably throughout the middle part of the year, but still needs to go up to another level. And just haven't seen that consistently from him. Andrew Wiggins has been a complete bust throughout most of his NBA career, and he's basically living it up to that same degree in Golden State. And look, I've gone on and on about Draymond and his antics and just his inability to keep his composure, especially when it comes to these late game situations. It's almost just too much for Steph to just carry on his own because he's got to basically carry most of the weight around for this team to even keep them viable for a playoff spot at this point. So Steph has been absolutely sensational this year, despite really having no help around him, so to speak, outside of maybe James Wiseman. James Wiseman has been a solid piece so far in his rookie season when he's been healthy. I just, like you said, I don't know what else they can really expect from Steph. The only reason why I asked the question was because, look, people have been asking that question throughout most of this year, if not last year. This man, Steph, is really probably in the top 3, top 4 MVP race discussion at this point, simply because he is dragging this team on his own to get to the playoff. And honestly, it reminds me, it's very reminiscent of what Kobe was doing when he was with the Lakers in the year before he tore his Achilles, because he had to carry a Dwight Howard. He had to carry a Steve Nash who was at the end of his career, and had to carry a lot of subpar.
Mush Parker, Kwame Brown.
I'm talking about in 2013.
Oh.
There was a huge stretch from 2005 to 2007 where, yeah, he did that pretty much every game. But it's just like, do you think it's almost too much pressure on Steph? I think Steph is more than willing to get this team to the playoffs, but outside of that, the best they could probably get to is maybe the second round, and that's probably a little bit too much to ask for, unless Steph goes out there and averages 40 points a game, which, I mean, look, in some of the months that he's been playing in, he can get that or get very close to that as far as a point per game average. But Steph's going out there and doing exactly what he needs to do, and that's try to keep this team viable until Klay Thompson comes back next year. And did you see the report about Klay thinking about coming back probably within like the first couple of weeks of next season?
I mean, he's got to play that smart, man. We already know the significance of an Achilles injury. He's probably saying all that because he sees them suffering. At the end of the day, I don't think Clay's got final say. He'd like to be back by the beginning, but who knows, man? Kevin Durant did it, but still, I wouldn't rush that back, man. You can't afford to lose him again. 2 years in a row is enough. The league needs Clay.
Exactly. And Clay is such a viable – he's one of the best two-way players in the game. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, without him, he's had some huge moments, especially in the playoffs. And without him, that team
Game 6 Clay is real, everybody. Game 6 Clay is real. Everyone
Yeah,
needs to
just
be put on notice.
everybody protect your Achilles because man, they can go just like that.